Hey everybody, I'm Nathaniel Dodson from tutvid.com, and today in this Premiere Pro video editing tutorial, we're going to talk about creating this written on effect on the screen. Now, ideally this is something that you would do in After Effects, but I got a request for this tutorial, so I went in, looked at it, and I realized I've never done a tutorial on this particular effect, so this is the perfect time to introduce this type of effect, and with a little bit of masking, we can make it just perfect. Now, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can check out all the Premiere Pro tutorials. You never miss a Premiere Pro tutorial in the future. Sounds like a plan. Let's jump in and check out this tutorial, just you and I, and everybody else here who's watching as well. So I got this shot of this girl here just kind of skating down this alleyway, and what we're going to do is we're going to just drop some text over it that says just skate, and then make that look like it's being written onto the screen. So what I'm going to do here, I'm using Adobe CC 2017, like the April 2017 update where we get the type tool. I believe that was the update where the type tool came into Premiere Pro. But you can also do this if you're using the old titler. Grab the text tool, and I'm just going to type out in all caps, just space skate, just like that, right? And then over here in my effect controls, you can see I've got all this text nonsense here. There are a bunch of great fonts, some free, some pay. I'm going to link 5 or 6 free fonts like Hello Stockholm, 5 Boroughs, Trash Hand, Montez, Pall Mall, Snickles, fonts like that that are free that you can download that look pretty good in terms of like written fonts, but you can always search, look around on DaFont and Font Squirrel, and there's lots of great like handwritten looking fonts. The font that I'm looking for though is a purchased font called Tooth and Nail, and I think it just looks cool. You can see, there we go, looks pretty cool. We need to make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to grab the little slider here. And by the way, I have that text actively selected there. We're going to just make this a little bit bigger, right? We want it to be kind of big and in our face, but we need there to be space between the letters. It's important that there's space between the letters so the effect here in Premiere that's going to write these letters for us doesn't like overlap and touch other letters. It just won't look all that realistic. Well, let me just make sure I have the right font. I just accidentally hit my mouse wheel as I rolled over that. Let's go Tooth and Nail. There we go. I'm going to just grab my tracking slider here and just increase the spacing between the letters. Something like that. And we can just select the text object here, and we can drag it, and it'll almost auto-align for us to the center of our video frame. Something like that I think will work really, really well. Now I'm going to do a couple things. Number one, the fill color does not matter. It can be any color you want it to be. We're going to drag this text out, so we want it to last here over the video for, I don't know, 10 seconds or more. But I'm just going to go with, whatever, 10, 12 seconds here. That's good to get us started. We'll lengthen it out a little bit more if we need. We need to create an adjustment layer. So come down here and choose New Item, and we're going to choose an adjustment layer. I like to work on an adjustment layer, and what we'll do to begin this effect is we'll drag the adjustment layer out above the just skate text, and I'm just going to stretch it out so it's as long as the just skate text object. Now when we finish this, the adjustment layer is actually going to go beneath the text layer, but I'll show you how to flip-flop these in just a second. With the adjustment layer selected, let's go over here to Effects. Let's come to a Video Effects, come down here to Generate, and there's a really cool little effect called Write On, where you can, we can basically use this to write here in Premiere Pro, and Premiere Pro will do basically the bulk of the work for us in terms of doubling this up and following with the keyframes we set for it. So a couple things. Number one, you'll see that a tiny little white dot has appeared there next to the S. That is the Write On dot that we have created, but we need to increase the brush size to something that's big enough to cover the letters. So let's try like 25. Maybe we'll, I don't want to go too much bigger, maybe like 28. That should be wide enough to cover the widest strokes of text we have, right? That looks like that would work. Brush hardness, something near default, not too hard, but not too soft. I'm going to go with 65%. That's probably great. Brush opacity 100 is what we want. Now the stroke length, this is the duration of the stroke before it sort of starts to undraw itself. Now I want this to be longer than our title ever would have to be, so I'm just going to set this to 50 seconds because I wanted to write this just skate text, and then we would just like fade the text out and it would be gone. Now here for brush spacing in seconds, really milliseconds, I'm just going to hit the down arrow key. It's going to take me under the 0.01 or 0.001 I should say. That's just going to pack our little dots one on top of the other to make it look like a perfect stroke. Now next what we want to do is get this dot over into position. So we want to bring it up here by the top of the J. So when we write the J, it's going to look somewhat natural. Now we're going to do this here by literally clicking on the word Write On. When we do that, you're going to see it gives us like this little crosshair over our dot. Now in order to make this bit of the tutorial easier, I'm going to make this bigger, and I'm going to change fit to like at least 200%. That looks pretty good. So now I can just click on this crosshair and I'll drag this over. And let me just move my monitor over a little bit. Let's drag this over. I think I'm going to begin by heading down the stem of the J first, and then we will cross across the top of the J. So here's how this works. All we're going to do is animate brush position right here. This property, brush position. Click on that stopwatch. It's going to toggle the animation, but what it's really going to do is drop a keyframe there, as you see. Now, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit my arrow key, my right arrow key. It's going to move. I don't know if you noticed, this playhead just moved one frame to the right. So we've moved one frame to the right. Make sure you have right on selected, and we simply click and drag this crosshair and drag it and begin painting over, if you will, the stems of these letters. Now I'll just hit the right arrow key one more time, paint a little bit further. And if you like, you can select the effect controls panel here, use your plus minus keys to zoom in and really get a good idea of, you can see we've placed 3 keyframes. That's great. Make sure you select right on again, and we can just drag this down a little bit further. Now, one thing that you may decide you want to happen, if you want the writing action to happen a little bit slower, you can, like double tap and go 2 frames in between keyframes. I'm just going 1 frame. I think that'll work perfectly for what I want to do here. And I think at this point, I'll just speed the video up a little bit as I just continue tracing over these letters. Actually, what I think I'll do here before I speed it up too much further, I am going to just get out of this. You can see it's a very CPU-intensive process here, but I'm also running the screen recorder, so that's not helping things. Now, what's going to happen is we need to join these letters together. So I'm going to drag this way up here. Right, so we're going to drag our right on effect all the way up here, because in one fell swoop we're going to cross across the line that goes perpendicular on top of the J. So we're going to nudge over to add a keyframe, and we're going to pull this right across here. Maybe not all the way across, but almost all the way across. Add another keyframe, and then we'll drag this over to the point that it's getting ready to head straight down for the stem of the U. Right, add a keyframe, and then we'll work our way down the stem of the U. And I think here, finally, at this point, is where I will go ahead, and the video will be going much faster right now, and I'll be back, well, just in seconds here as I finish this animation that you're watching, and then I'll show you exactly what it looks like when we constrain it to only animate within this text that we've placed here on this video. And there, didn't look so bad, did it? Just real quick, sped that video right up. Now, because there is this admittedly bit of work that needs to be done in terms of creating all these keyframes, this probably isn't the type of effect you want to create like all of your lower thirds out of, but certainly as like an opening, title or something like that for a film or a video you're working on, it can be really cool. Now, it really looks kind of dumb, right, the way it is, because it's just a mess. We need to constrain that gobby white mess that we animated so it just fills in the text and nothing else. Well, here's how we do it, and it's pretty easy. We grab our Just Skate text, and let's drag it above that adjustment layer. It's going to automatically create a new track, and just to keep things clean, let's drag the adjustment layer down and drag the Just Skate layer down right on top of the adjustment layer. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to select the adjustment layer. I'm going to collapse that right on effect right there, and I'm going to look for an effect called Track Matte Key. So track, there it is, video effects keying, track matte key. I'm going to drag and drop that on the adjustment layer. Now, I'm just going to take note here. My Just Skate text object is sitting here on video track 3, V3. So up here in track matte, we want to mask the white gobbiness of the adjustment layer to the beautiful shapes of the text here on the Just Skate text object. So we're going to set the matte here to video 3, V3, right there. Video 3, you're going to see that everything's going to disappear. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an in point, and I'm going to set an out point like right over here, and I'm going to say, hey, look, sequence, render the in to out point here, and Premiere is going to really, really quickly here speed through this, create a beautiful video preview so we can check this out here together. All right, now that it's rendered, I am going to hit Option X, that'd be Alt X on the PC to just get rid of my in and out points, and let's just check it out. So you can see, there you go, Just Skate. Written just like that. In less than 5 seconds is it written, and it looks great. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's a little bit of front-end work that goes into it, but it's a really, really cool effect to be able to do in Premiere Pro if you're not comfortable jumping over into After Effects or things like that. I will be doing a tutorial on how to do this effect in After Effects as well, since the commenter who left the question, they kind of asked for both. So eventually I'll get to it in After Effects as well, but it is a really cool effect, so I wanted to jump in and at least show you right here, right now, how it's done in Premiere. If you prefer Premiere, if you're using Premiere, if you're more comfortable with Premiere, it is possible in Premiere, but it's definitely nicer to be done in After Effects. But hey, I'm not going to belabor the point. It's still pretty cool. It's something you can do here in Premiere Pro. So for a crap load of keyframes, guys, that's going to be it for this tutorial. That's it. Get it? Got it? Good. NathanielDodson.tutvid.com. I'll catch you in the next one. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more great tutorials every day. Also, buy my course. It helps us do what we do, and this channel is supported by viewers just like you. You can also just click the thumbnail and watch another video from this channel. See you next time, guys.